Hello and welcome back to goldstocktrades.com. Today we have a new and special guest with us, Mark Seelenfreund. Mark is CEO of Siyata Mobile. Siyata can be traded as SIM on the TSX Venture. Thanks, Mark, for being here with us today.
Thank you very much.
Mark, talk to us about what Siyata Mobile, talk to us about the business and how you got into this business.
Okay. So we got into this business in 2011 when Motorola was bought by Google, and anything that wasn't consumer-oriented was basically shut down. So Google wasn't interested in anything that was business-oriented. They were much more focused on the consumer market. Until that time, Motorola owned the cellular connected vehicle device market, which includes mobile devices for trucks, buses, ambulances, police cars, and more. And when they were closed, there was a major void in the market because there were hundreds of thousands of these devices that were sold by Motorola and no upgrade. So there were only 2G devices or more older devices, and there was no 3G or next generation devices available in the market. An Israeli mobile provider came to us and said that if we could build a device that was similar to the Motorola 2G device, then they would become our customer and they would start ordering from us. We basically went and hired some of the top Motorola engineers that were based in Israel at the time and made the first 3G connected vehicle device, which we call truck phone. And if we fast forward now 4 years later to 2015, we've already sold over 100,000 units of that device. So that's basically how we got into this market.
100,000 units of this truck phone. So talk to us
Correct.
about the difference between this truck phone device to, the regular cellular devices that we use like the iPhone or the Samsung phone.
Okay. So we make cellular devices that are tailor-made for professional drivers who need something that is different than what's offered in a consumer phone like an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy device. Truck phone has better noise background cancellation that we achieve through a dedicated directional microphone, okay, which is very important because this allows to have in a loud truck cabin, there's a lot of noise, and the person on the other side cannot hear you well. So we have what is called a lot of noise cancellation, which blocks out all of that background noise so that the person on the other side can hear you clearly. We also have a loud dedicated speaker so that the driver can hear the person that he is speaking to very well. We have big physical buttons for easier dialing. We have an external antenna, so it's outside of the device for better cellular coverage. We're connected to the truck battery so that it's always powered and more. Unlike consumer mobile devices like an iPhone, this is tailor-made for a professional driver or a fleet, which we address the specific needs of this industry.
Mark, I also understand you have another device called the Voyager. How is that different than the truck phone, and what does that device do?
Okay, that's a good question. So Voyager is very similar to the first generation device, the truck phone, but in addition, it's Android-based. So this allows you to put applications on the device. In that sense, we can have navigation on the device like Waze. We can have fleet management solutions. We can have push-to-talk or two-way radio connectivity, which is extremely popular with fleets and additional applications that we can put on this device. So basically, the Voyager is an all-in-one device that allows fleet managers the ability to have one central device in a truck, in a van, in a police car, in an ambulance, and so on, that provides all the communication needs for a professional driver.
Mark, you mentioned before about the R&D. Motorola was in Israel. Talk to us about sort of the history of Motorola in Israel and about your R&D and your markets that you're selling into.
Okay. So Motorola historically was a very, very strong R&D center in Israel. They had, historically, they were probably one of the first technology companies that had come into Israel. And they really owned the business-connected mobile device industry. So when we got into this business, we picked up their R&D, a lot of their engineers, and until this day, all of our R&D is done in Israel, where we continue to develop both the hardware and the software for the next generation devices. We currently sell to all the cellular providers in Israel, so we have basically 100% penetration to all the cellular operators in Israel. And in the past 2 years, we've gotten into additional markets like the UK, Sweden, Australia, and other markets. Our main focus right now is the North American market. And we started operations in Canada this year, in 2015. where we plan to get approval within this year already from a major mobile carrier in Canada. Next year, we'll be focused on the U.S. market, and we're currently building the sales and support teams to support both of these markets. But we believe that the future for our sales is going to be very much focused on North America.
You mentioned before in the interview about Motorola and that it was eventually bought out by Google. Talk to us about this market, this area in the mobile industry. What sort of competition is out there right now?
Okay. First of all, the market in itself is a very large market. Okay, just the Motorola replacement market, so the upgrade market for the old Motorola devices, is hundreds of thousands of devices globally. So there's still hundreds of thousands of 2G Motorola devices that have to be swapped out, and we hope that they'll be swapped out by our devices. There are 1 million commercial vehicles in Canada, and there's over 10 million commercial vehicles in the United States. So in that sense, it's a very large-scale market, and we view it as a $7 billion market that we're going after. We have a few competitors in Europe. We have 3 competitors in Europe. They're very, very focused on the European markets, so they're less focused on North America. We haven't seen them at all in Canada. Also, they only compete with us on our basic truck phone device. They don't have a device which has the Android platform like our Voyager device. Okay. Other competitors of ours are multi-billion-dollar companies that make rugged tablets, like companies like Trimble or Intermec or Zebra. These are all public companies, and you can look them up. They're all very large-scale companies. The main difference between us and them is that whereas they only have data products, so they make a rugged tablet that can only have, let's say, fleet management on it. They can only have a data session, whereas what we do is we're able to have both voice and data. So with our devices, you can also make phone calls and also have similar data sessions. And in that sense, we think that we have a major edge over the competition because we have one device which is really an all-in-one device that you only have to buy one unit for your truck. And therefore, we think that we have something which is very unique.
Mark, talk to us about some of your goals going forward. Where do you want the company to be in next year and the year after?
So we started sales in late 2011, and we've grown the company by between 40 to 50% year over year until today. We believe that also in 2015, this year, we'll also grow between 40 and 50% over last year. Our goal by 2017 is to sell annually between 50 to 100,000 devices, which would translate into somewhere between $25 to $50 million in sales and generating somewhere between $7 to $10 million in profit. So really our goal is to go after additional markets, to go after additional cellular operators, focus on North America, maybe later on in Latin America, and just sell a lot of product, come out with next generation devices, and become a very profitable company.
As we conclude here the interview, Mark, the last question, talk to us about how you got the name Siyata.
So Siyata in ancient Hebrew means heavenly assistance. And anybody that is in business knows that you need some heavenly assistance if you want to be successful. And that's part of the reason that we call this company Siyata Mobile.
Mark, thank you so much for being here with us today, for taking time out of your schedule, and for giving us an introduction to Siyata Mobile, which can be traded as SIM on the TSX Venture.
Thank you very much, Jeb.